Now to discuss the state of the shutdown is political analyst Michael Fauntroy. Michael, good morning. Always great to see you.
Likewise.
A lot of people were surprised by that group of Democrats deciding to meet up with Republicans last night. That breakthrough vote happened to end the shutdown. What did you make of it?
Well, there have been some rumors, some thought that perhaps some conversations were beginning to happen. So I wasn't surprised that there was some discussion bipartisan across the table. But I have to tell you, Marcia, at least at first blush, this does not seem like much of a win for Democrats. And for that reason, I'm surprised Democrats, based on all of the polling and on the policy, had the momentum to get much more of what they wanted, but they seem to not want to hold out for that in hopes that a president and a congressional majority of Republicans, which have not been honest brokers throughout any of this, would somehow become honest in time for this December vote. I'm not optimistic, but, I'm not in the room either.
Well, why do you think Democrats, in some people's minds, caved to the Republicans this way?
I think part of it is in the piece you just aired before you and I started. The airline issue is a really big one. We're getting close to the Thanksgiving holiday. Flights are being canceled. And I should note on the flight cancellations, Canada should know that in the United States, the commercial flights were being canceled, but not the private flights that take up roughly 10% of the air traffic in the United States. And so I think that's a really big part of it. And maybe some of the Democrats who voted for it seem to think that it's, they're dealing with people who can be honorable, but I'm just not certain that's the case.
So I want to tell you a little bit about what Trump is saying in reference to those workers at air traffic controllers. He's pretty much scolding them. And in this tweet or I guess it's not a tweet, it's a post on Truth Social, he said that they must get back to work now. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those who were great patriots and didn't take time off, they're going to get a bonus, according to his recommendation. But the others, he said, I'm not happy with you. You didn't step up to help the USA against the fake Democrat attack that was only meant to hurt our country. You will have a negative mark, at least in my mind, against your record. What does that say to you, Michael?
It's a disgraceful attack on people who have to struggle with feeding their families and working. I was
not getting paid, and we should mention that. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes,
not getting paid.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I flew back and forth from D.C. to Atlanta 2 weeks ago, and I could hear the grumbling from the TSA workers, and there were beginning to be shortages then. I think that post comes from a president who doesn't understand and have much of a connection to the real world financial realities of rank and file Americans. When you've never flown commercial before and you're worth billions of dollars, the fact that somebody who's making $40,000 or $50,000 a year is taking a stand just doesn't resonate. And so I think that's a big part of what you see. He is a disconnected president when it comes to real world issues that Americans are facing.
What did the shutdown accomplish in the end?
Marcia, I'm not sure. We'll see in December. But if we end up in December right where we were just before this announcement, then the answer will be nothing. And if that's the case, then you got more people dragged through 4, 6, 8 weeks without pay, completely unfair. And we're talking about TSA, but there are hundreds of thousands of federal government workers in the immediate Washington, D.C. area where I am, not to mention millions more across the country who are also being impacted by this. The long-term financial implications of this shutdown on the everyday people in this country is going to be profound and long-lasting.
Political analyst Michael Fauntroy. Michael, as always, appreciate you being with us. We'll talk to you again soon.